Hello and welcome
Hi,
to
everyone.
Creep
Creep
Country. This is our very first ever live stream. So, hello, camera's up here. We'll try
Hello,
to do.
everyone.
So, we have decided to create a podcast. So, welcome to Creep Country Cinema. So, we're going to do true crime, horror, sci fi,
Fantasy.
cosplay, DIY, a little bit of everything. It's not going to be strictly a podcast. We're also going to make videos like this. We'll do movie reviews, maybe some travel vlogs
Oh, hopefully there'll be some travel vlogs.
as time
Yeah.
goes on. So, we wanted to just start off by doing our very first video to just welcome you to our channel. Hopefully, there will be lots more videos to come. And we thought we would start off by doing what we like to call TrailerCON.
2022.
So, this is where we sit and watch a bunch of trailers for upcoming uh, films or TV shows or things that we are personally invested in and excited about. So, up first on our list is the new Wednesday trailer. There is a series being developed for Netflix. It is actually directed by Tim Burton, who is one of my favorite filmmakers. And it is based on Wednesday Addams from the Addams family, and she's grown up at a boarding school called Nevermore Academy. This is as much as I know about it, I believe.
Yeah, yes, and Luis Guzman is playing a more mature Gomez, like an older Gomez, who, interestingly enough, looks like the cartoon character that was drawn for the comics. I know some people were going off about how they thought he was miscast, but when you look at the animated Gomez and you see a picture of Luis Guzman, it really is uncanny. So it'll be interesting. Um, as well, Morticia is being played by Catherine Zeta-Jones,
Mm.
which should be amazing. I'm really looking forward to this show. So
Me too. I adore Catherine Zeta-Jones. I have been such a huge fan of hers. I think The Haunting is where I really fell in love with her
mhm.
as an actress.
Same here.
I love her in High Fidelity. I mean, she's been great in absolutely
Entrapment.
everything. I don't think that I've seen
You've
Entrapment.
not seen
Is that
Entrapment?
Michael Douglas? Is that her husband?
No, Sean Connery.
Oh, I mean, I love Sean Connery. Maybe I might have been too young for it.
That's the movie. Yeah, where she's like, I don't know,
I
trying
love
to be
Catherine
a thief.
Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
And Jenna Ortega is playing Wednesday Addams. And I am a huge fan of Jenna Ortega. I fell in love with her in You, and we like the Netflix Jurassic Park TV
Camp
show.
Cretaceous,
Camp Cretaceous.
which we have to start the last season, but
She voices Brooklyn on that show, so we both really like that. And then most recently, she's sort of becoming this scream queen. She was in the Babysitter sequel, I believe, and she's also in the new Scream film. So she's really sort of coming into her own as a scream queen, especially if she's now going to be Wednesday Addams. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this. I am an enormous Addams fan. Like the Addams Family movies were so important to me, but also the 60s television show. I have it all on DVD. In fact, one of the first things I ever ordered on the internet were old VHS tapes of the Addams Family TV show. I am a mega fan from way back. I even like the 90s TV show. People say it was terrible. It was, but I loved it. I like the reunion film where we actually have Tim Curry playing Gomez and Daryl Hannah as Morticia, who actually does an excellent job as Morticia. It's kind of surprising. So I'm a giant fan of like the Charles Addams cartoons, the TV shows, every manifestation of it. I was admittedly a little bit hesitant when it came to the new animated film. There's two of them now. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the animation style, and I know it kind of harkened to the original Charles Addams, but the modernization of it being CGI, I wasn't sure, and I loved it. I loved it.
It was fantastic. It really was. That they had really Oscar Isaac was so good as Gomez. They casted it perfect for an animated film, and it was really good.
Yeah, they really knocked that one out of the park, in my opinion. But then the sequel, it was okay. I wasn't as much in love with it, but I still loved it. I just love returning to the Addams universe. So I'm really excited for Wednesday. Admittedly, I have very high hopes. But again, I'm such a fan. I'm just open to whatever they want to do. So
And it's Tim Burton. I
Yeah.
mean, we're huge Tim Burton fans, so to see him heading back into the horror fantasy genres after it seems like forever he's been on a hiatus.
mhm.
And going back to this realm, like Beetlejuice and that kind of thing. I mean, that always seemed like his realm kind of thing too. So to see him go to this beloved universe, which I'm sure he was a fan of growing up. I mean, like,
And fun fact, a lot of people probably already know this, but Tim Burton was originally approached and might have even been slated to direct the 90s Addams Family films. And it fell through, I believe, because he was working on Nightmare Before Christmas. I could be wrong on that, but I know that he was originally in talks to be the director, and Barry Sonnenberg came in, and I love what he ended up doing with those. Sonnenfeld, pardon me.
Yeah.
I love what he ended up doing with those films, and I love the Men in Black films.
Yes, and that was I had no idea that it was Barry Sonnenfeld who did the Addams Family. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't see the director, and then I saw Men in Black, and then that's where I really got to know his name.
And it was Addams Family was first. Like, he was originally a cinematographer, I believe, and then he was approached to be the director, and it was his first time directing job, and he just again knocked it out of the park. But I remember even as a kid, I was a huge Tim Burton fan, and the Addams Family films felt Tim Burton-y to me, even though they weren't.
You were just saying that the last time that we were watching the opening and everything. It feels very Tim Burton.
Yeah,
and it feels. And I don't think Danny Elfman doesn't do the music, does he?
He might do.
Because that would really throw a wrench.
He does it in Men in Black, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, who does it? Put in the comments below. Feel free to correct us.
No,
I'm not sure if
might be Danny Elfman. I'm trying to hear it because we just saw Men in Black. Not that remember it was on.
Yeah, no, I feel like he has such a distinct style, and I'm listening to the Addams score in my head right now. Yes, I'm not familiar with it. I can hear the score in my head as we're talking. All right, well, let's put it on. Let's see.
Without further ado, let's check out Wednesday here. Okay. So it's coming to Netflix. Do we have a date?
Werewolf.
We have a little werewolf here. This is little Janine.
There was a release date. Yes, this is our werewolf, Janine.
And we love her.
Say
hello.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi, hello, darling. Yes. So she'll be our little mascot, our thing.
Okay, here we go.
All right, let's do it. So we are putting it on our big TV here.
Okay, we got a high school. Nancy Reagan High School.
Oh, I forgot to mention Cassandra Peterson is in this too.
You said it had a very interesting educational journey.
High school.
8 schools in 5 years.
The school is very different.
It does.
It's like Edward Scissorhands.
Wow.
This is a close practice.
The only person who gets to torture my brother is me.
Ah.
They are piranha.
Oh.
Getting expelled was just a bonus.
That's cruel.
It's a magical place. I bet you love it.
This fall.
Oh, Gwendolyn Christie.
Was he a stabbing social? I do like stabbing.
Oh, fencing, because Gomez being the fencer.
Oh, there's things.
He's stepping into a nightmare. Full of mystery.
Feels very Carrie.
Fall
So-
2020. I'm pretty sure there has been a date, but I could be wrong. Okay, so first reactions.
It feels very Tim Burton. From just what we saw there, it felt like it's a Tim Burton vehicle. Very dark. The humor, very, very dark.
And the piranha in the,
The piranha in the
swimming
pool.
pool.
That's so cruel.
I love it.
But
Love it.
Jenna Ortega looks like she does such a great job at channeling the character and kind of honoring what came before with what Christina Ricci brought to the character, but I'm sure making it her own. Like she's got that, that deadpan. But I mean, the original Wednesday was like that too, right?
Yeah, like I'm
In the original show, I can't remember, but
Lisa Loring, I believe was her name. Yeah, but she was very kind of still sort of cutesy. She was a little bit deadpan. Like it was really Christina Ricci that gave us our sort of understanding of Wednesday as that really like dark, deadpan, morbid young girl. I can't ever help but think of the like terrible knockoff Halloween costume and its evil midweek cutie because they couldn't
You
call
could
her Wednesday.
stay.
Evil midweek cutie. But our understanding of that sort of version of Wednesday really did come from Christina Ricci's interpretation of the character. I mean, I'm sure that was written in the script. I doubt that she, as a young girl, came up with that. But yeah, Wednesday's Child, like from the old Charles Adams cartoons, she was just a morbid, quiet, weird little girl. But obviously, we don't get a ton of her personality through the cartoons. So in the TV show, the original TV show, she was just kind of sort of a bubbly, sweet little girl, like just.
I am trying to remember and just saying,
But
yeah,
she
and I
had,
guess
like,
I don't
Marie
remember
Antoinette,
being.
like a
Yeah.
headless doll, but like she just had a lot of joy and happiness. But the Addams Family has a lot of joy and happiness. That's the nice thing about them.
Yes.
Like, yeah, they're dark, but they revel in that darkness. They're really happy with what their lives are. So, yeah, I'm already so excited. It looks wonderful. It looks like it's what I want to be. Or what that is what I want. It looks like what I want it to be. I got a lot of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children vibes.
It had a little Harry Potter vibe to it, just
Yeah,
because of the
Nevermore
Academy.
Academy. I
Yeah,
wanna go
it's
to
like
school.
they're going. Yeah, it's like
As a
it's.
grown up, I want to teach at the
There
school.
you go. I'm hoping that it takes off and becomes beloved like that, and perhaps they will have a Nevermore Academy that you can go visit, like they have, Harry Potter, Hogwarts, and Universal, and
But yeah, it did give me a Miss Peregrine's a little bit, which is also directed by Tim Burton. So that kind of like boarding school, I feel like that's in a lot of Tim Burton films, to like send someone off to school thing.
yeah.
But she looks the part. I was really impressed. Louise Guzman speaks for like 2 seconds. In
Yeah,
the
we
whole
didn't get to
trailer,
hear a lot.
but he just gave this look that I remember from the cartoons. Like he just did
That big smile,
Yeah,
and it was like it was over, and it like because the cartoon character, the smile was over exaggerated.
and
So it was like
it
he was,
worked.
yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones looks stunning as Morticia.
And we didn't get a lot of her in
No.
that too, but I'm hoping this is only the teaser, so
Yeah,
I
so
imagine.
an official trailer eventually.
Yeah,
It'll
and
be-
it says fall, so I'm gonna go off on a limb and
Right,
guess
but a
October.
werewolf.
Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe early October or something, or before that it'll be premiering.
Yeah, I'm game for it. It looks wonderful. It looks exactly what I wanted it to be. So I'm happy as an Addams fan. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they end up doing. So yeah, what trailer are we gonna do next?
Well, the next trailer, which I know we've been dying to see and haven't got a chance to see it until now, is Halloween Kills.
Ends.
You're right. Ends,
Halloween
not Kills.
Ends.
That was the last
We've
film.
Seen
So
Kills.
you've probably already seen
Seen
Kills.
that trailer.
You've seen that trailer. No, we're going to watch Halloween Ends, and we've been really excited. I remember people were waiting and waiting and waiting for this trailer to drop.
Oh yeah,
And-
like people are doing countdowns on YouTube, like waiting for it.
Yeah,
to,
and they're like, it's
film
gonna
the
be today.
reaction.
It's gonna be today, and then they're like, no, it's next week, and then finally it did drop, and yeah, I've been trying to avoid it so
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
we could watch it together.
So first time watch.
So
Again, I'm a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. I'm not as crazy about the Rob Zombies. I still enjoy them though. I'm not one of those people who are like I don't want to acknowledge their existence. I like them.
Mhm.
They're fun, but I do enjoy the original franchise itself. I love Part 6. It's one of my favorite of the sequels, and everybody hates Part 6, so I'm in the minority there. I love H2O. Honestly,
Yes.
one of my favorite Halloween films is Halloween H2O.
I agree.
And
That would
yeah.
definitely be one of my favorites too
I'm not
because
afraid
I never
to
see
admit
it.
it anymore. I'm a grown up. I'm allowed to love
I thought it was very
H2O.
good because being a fan of Scream and Scream making me become a horror fan. Um, I Halloween H2O was in that was 98 that was released. So it was after I'd seen Scream and was, getting into that genre. And it was very, because it's done by Dimension Films and
And
both
Kevin
of them,
Williamson
and Kevin
wrote the script.
Kevin Williamson
Yeah.
wrote the script. It felt very Scream,
Yeah.
but with Michael Myers, and it was
that
great.
was such a wonderful era of horror to me. That
Yeah.
like 90s, like
Definitely.
when we have I Know He Did Last Summer and Scream and Halloween H2O, like they all had a similar kind of vibe because obviously we have the same screenwriter for a lot of those. But there was just a vibe, like in Urban Legend and all in Valentine, and like there's a quality to 90s teen horror that I just adore.
Yeah, because I remember, really wanting to go to the theater to see these films and going to see them and, jumping because, they have the inevitable jump scares and, 90s horror was just so good.
So the Halloween, what are we calling it? The requel, not a reboot, not a sequel,
requel.
From 2017. No, 2018. 2018. So we actually had the privilege of seeing that at TIFF. We actually got to go to the premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, which was one of the coolest nights of my life. Jamie Lee Curtis was there. Oh, what? She is so gorgeous in person.
She is aged so well.
Yeah.
Really, she looks so good. And
like they make her look old in the Halloween films
Yeah,
because
but
that's the character, but
Yeah.
she doesn't look like that. Like in person, she was stunning. She was a starlet. She was chef's kiss. Beautiful. The crowd was just like on fire. Like it was just
it's a really good crowd.
energy.
They were all ready for the premiere, and there was somebody dressed as Michael Myers.
Yes, and he was roaming up and down the line.
Up and down the line outside with the theme music playing.
And then at the end, he was up in the balcony.
Was that the same?
Yeah. That was that one.
That was that one. Really? I thought that was just somebody random dressed up,
I
and that
don't
was somebody
know.
hired by the
Same
studio.
No, I don't know. But there's some
anyway,
guy dressed as Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Up in the
Right
balcony.
before the movie started, this Michael Myers came out onto the stage and just kind of just stood there and just like, it was very eerie. And then at the end credits, he went up to the balcony. So as these credits are going and people just looked at the balcony, he's just standing there.
Yeah.
And just like as the credits, not moving, and it was just absolutely,
so cool.
it was so cool. It was the best.
Hello, David. Thank
Hello.
you so much for joining us. Hi. So we're reviewing some trailers. That's what we're up to right now. But some trailers we've reviewed one. We're about to do Halloween Ends. So I guess we should stop jabbing our jaws. Let's put it on. So we're doing the new Halloween. Well, it's new to us. It was released a month ago.
Really? It's been a month? Yeah, wow. I guess it was July. Okay, so here's Halloween Ends.
Here we go. Probably getting
Halloween night.
Yes.
Oh, I love those lanterns.
I love when people decorate for
Yeah.
Halloween.
I have those lanterns. Those pumpkin lanterns.
Yeah,
those paper.
I hang too.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going up a door.
Thank you for the run
for well, just if you can't see, if you're not watching,
if you're watching at home, feel free to put it on at the same time. Okay, we're sneakily looking into someone's room. We hear breathing. Oh, that's definitely Mikey. Oh, and there's. But she looks like she's wearing the same outfit from the original film, like that blue shirt. Oh,
yes.
You hear lots of screaming. Yes. There's Saga. That looked like That looked like a flashback.
It is. It's showing from.
Oh, we're gonna get demonetized because of the cursing. My apologies. Okay. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh.
Okay, so he's stabbing. Okay.
Well, that didn't really get. I mean, obviously, well, okay, October 14th. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
we know it's going to be a showdown. So that's really what the trailer was kind of showing, was just
Mhm.
this, epic pieces of this epic showdown between Laurie and Michael.
Yeah. So it looks interesting. I feel like, yeah, we didn't see very much, and I like that. I don't want to have a ton
I
spoiled.
hate that when
Me
they do
too.
that. It's just, I want to see the movie and be surprised. I mean, okay, give us a feel for the movie like they used to do in the 90s, but now,
Mhm.
back in my day, they just wouldn't show you that much, and you kind of had to piece it together, and it was just, done in such a way. But now it's like they show you all the moments that are going to happen within the film, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I
look,
feel like
you can see there's an Easter egg thing right here, and they're already pointing to Jamie Lee's shirt from the trailer. So yeah, it's
People
definitely
picking it apart,
is
yeah.
a reference to her original costume. Again, I'm super excited. I like that Jamie Lee is very much the focus of this trailer. Now that does worry that me that she's gonna like die in the first 5 minutes, and that's all they're showing us.
well, yeah.
However, if this is the case, I'm really excited to see her more at the center of this, because I did like Halloween Kills. I did, but I would have liked to see her more as our central character in that film. So if this revolves more around
and
her,
I felt that Kills was more about her granddaughter.
Yeah.
It was really,
like
giving
almost filler, but filler I loved. Like I loved Halloween Kills.
I did too.
Again, a lot of people didn't, and that's your opinion. That's fine. I had so much fun. I was along for the ride. But when people say that it felt kind of like filler between Halloween and Halloween Ends, I can see that. It did. It was a lot of kills. It was a lot of gore. It was a lot of just sort of bringing the story just a little bit further along, which I was, again, fine with, because I was just happy to be back in the universe.
But again, I don't know if it's so much of it because Michael has been such a threat to Haddonfield for such a long time.
Mhm.
I think having the town itself being thrown into upheaval and having, the mob mentality, and it's showing how a mob mentality can get started and how hysteria comes into play. Anyway, I think that there was something there that it wasn't Laurie's movie, obviously, that this one is going to be Laurie's movie, but it was more about people trying to seek revenge against this monster.
David says, I always enjoy yelling at characters on screen to not do certain things, even if I can't say confidently that I wouldn't do similar things in those situations. I 100% agree.
Oh, same here. You're like, what are you doing?
And that's something I love about horror so much. This was something that I remember when I started really getting into horror. It had a lot to do with Scream films. I fully admit that. And I loved the group dynamic in those films where they're watching the horror movies as a group together and laughing and making fun of them, but like yelling at the characters and that sort of interaction. And I remember after watching that, I went with my friends to watch some horror movie at some sleepover, and I was trying to get that kind of started with everyone, and everyone was sort of looking at me like, why is she talking
like Randy that whole time? I really, I love that scene in the original Scream. We're going back to Scream again, which will happen very often.
Yeah, we're big Scream fans.
It's great. When Randy's talking to that party, and I always wanted a party to be like that. I don't know, where it's in this spooky farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, which, basically we both lived. Like, we both had homes that were
so
like
we had
that.
that connection to Woodsboro.
Yeah, and then they're, and they're having beer and they're partying, and then there's somebody, and then the group says we're gonna go over to the old school, you know what I mean? And they're driving down the back road.
It felt like it happened in a small town like our own.
Yeah,
I love that, and I wanted to start that. So that sort of fan experience of interacting with it, that's the thing that I enjoy the most about being a fan. So I long-winded way of saying, David, I completely agree. I will be continuously yelling out at characters at home. I mean, I don't do that in theater. Although, like, I will lean over to Kevin sometimes and be like, "Oh man, that outfit reminds me of
and we'll both be like, "Oh, that was an Easter egg."
Yeah,
that's a nod to the. Well,
But yeah, when you watch it at home, I don't stop. And I sing about the characters.
Yeah, she does. She creates little songs.
It's true.
It's a whole other soundtrack.
It's a whole production
yeah,
unto itself.
Just like we've already
Amy
developed the musical.
The classics.
We've already
Okay, can I put in a request for the next trailer?
Oh, okay, yeah. We don't have to do this in any order.
Well, we did. I insisted upon Wednesday first because I was
which one?
I want Terrifier.
Tonight's live video is brought to you by the Grim Ripper. our IPA from Haven Brewery.
Get grim. Enjoy your beer. And mine is brought to you by Wet, Wet Water. I put a spell on you.
Cheers. Oh, that's good.
Mm.
It's my first time trying.
No,
Well,
David, I am so
the
excited.
beer review
Terrifier
is
2.
it is really, really good.
Okay, yeah, we're reviewing beer here too. It's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Today. All right, Terrifier 2.
Terrifier
so,
2. Oh, Terrifier.
So let's talk a wee bit about Terrifier.
Yeah.
For those who are unfamiliar, it is.
Most memorable scene, Terrifier, go.
Audiences are a little split about the most memorable scene.
Okay.
So for the first Terrifier film, it is about Art the Clown. He is a killer clown. I believe it takes place on Halloween night, if I'm not
Yes.
Yeah, that's why everyone's in costume. So no one thinks anything weird about this killer clown. Interestingly, though, I believe it is the film All Hallows Eve where Art the Clown first shows up, which is an anthology Halloween-based horror film. And it's just a short little segment of Art the Clown. Is it All Hallows Eve 1 or All Hallows Eve 2? I think it's 1.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Again, put it in the comments down below. Feel free to let me know if I'm wrong. But yeah, so Art the Clown shows up in this short little segment. And honestly, that little segment, the first one, thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
That first little segment was honestly one of the most horrifying things to me. Just the premise of what happened. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't watched it, but it is deeply disturbing what he does to his victim in that. And I remember being really bothered by it. So jump forward to the first Terrifier movie. It's a full feature length. It was quite short, though, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't like a long.
Like 80 minutes or something? Or
and it very much had that 80s feel, like that 80s slasher feel.
Yeah, the music too, if I recall, didn't it sound very 80s?
The cinematography, the colors, like everything had that retro horror vibe.
Saturated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And felt kind of like it was maybe done low budget, but even if it wasn't, so you got a werewolf on your lap.
I do.
The werewolf is still here. So anyway, when Terrifier 2 was announced, I was excited. I was also a little bit hesitant, just because sometimes when you give a movie a bigger budget, some of the creativity is lost. It just is. And I think that's something I love about independent cinema is you have to get creative. You really have to work within your means to make something spectacular. And sometimes you kill it and sometimes you
no
don't.
pun intended.
I thought the first Terrifier killed it, literally. Yes. I was so there for the first Terrifier. So Terrifier 2, I'm here in theaters October 6th.
October 6th. Oh, yeah. Not that far away. Again, it was a trailer that I know people were waiting for. People were, checking out when it was filming and when it would wrap and stuff. And when's the trailer going to drop? And here it is. It just dropped 4 days ago, apparently. So,
all right.
Yeah, so here we go. Without further ado, Terrifier 2.
Oh, that rhymes.
Yeah,
it rhymes. Iconic events.
Did you figure out what you're dressing up as tonight?
He wants to dress up as a real guy who murdered 9 people last year.
Oh, you're not doing that.
It's just a costume.
Oh yeah, Art the Clown putting on his makeup in the first one.
What's up with him and this clown all of a sudden? You're like obsessed. They never found his body.
Oh,
Where did he decide to come back here?
Wow.
I would worry about it.
Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
Sir, what are you filming?
It wasn't
He's putting like a fire
shirt in
in
his
his
pants when he got here.
I'm telling you it was him. Boy. Right down to the little black dot on the tip of his nose.
Really
Oh,
weird,
that's
you
the
know
door.
I believe it. So
Terrifying.
I'm really bad happen tonight. No, I know what Jonathan's like. Okay, I can hear it in his voice. Something's wrong.
Look, we're not that. It's just free fire. Yes, sweet, because surprises, kids. We have a very special guest with us today, all the way from Miles County. Please welcome Art the Clown.
Oh, he's got fire.
Oh.
Art the Clown has fire. Oh, someone's on fire. That makes sense.
It's all fun and games until somebody gets lit on fire.
And then it's a spoon.
Yeah. Oh.
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 Art Krispies.
Oh,
like Rice
my.
Krispies. I'm guessing that's the dream sequence. Oh, a blood-covered bathroom.
Oh.
Oh, she had no
Oh.
eyes. Fire. Oh, there's art. Yeah, he's writing his name in blood on a mirror. Damien Leone's
Terrifier
2.
Soon.
Yes, I did get an emergency. Okay, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, like even the uh like the font that's used in it is so retro looking. I love that. I love that aspect of it already. So you can see where the bigger budget went already. Like just watching that trailer for me, obviously we are
Effects.
we have better effects, we have better camera work. We obviously have way more extras. There's a party scene.
They can
Or like a
afford
club or
more
something. Yeah.
people.
I love teen horror and that sort of genre. So the idea of like sending them to a Halloween party to wreak havoc, I'm here.
You're
for
all
that.
all here for the running and the screaming.
I love the running and
and
the
the
screaming, the dancing and the blood.
My one thought is, how are they going to top the scene
That scene, yeah, they're
in
gonna
the first one?
They're gonna do something.
Yeah, there's been. I mean, I've kind of heard that's what people are wondering. That there's been interviews, there's kind of been teases that they've got something, but now with the bigger budget, and I mean what they did in that first one with a limited budget, I think that's where all their budget went.
Yeah.
Really, you think about how just it was
And
really good.
that does make me a little bit nervous. Like just even watching this, there's a lot going on, and like just based on the little snippets of what we see, I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get a little bit more of Art's backstory, or maybe even a little bit of motive or something like that, which I'm a little torn on, because I think the thing that made Art as scary as he was is that we don't know anything about him. He's just a guy dressed as a clown. Does he look like that underneath there? Who is he, an alien? Like,
You're right.
What?
It's the millennium. Motives are incidental.
It's true. I heard the film is going to be 2 hours. Ooh,
Ooh.
Excellent. Okay, I'm here for 2 hours of art, because I believe the first one was quite short, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I remember thinking this is a short horror film.
And then with the smaller budget too, having a shorter film obviously really works in your favor. So yeah. To be able to expand more on the story and special effects and all that, like that.
I love this
so good.
kid that's here, that's obviously like obsessed with art and like wants to be him for Halloween, and that I already
That he
like
gets
that aspect of it.
possessed by art.
I love putting kids in horror movies. Kids are creepy. I'm sorry, but they are. So yeah, I think something really interesting is going to come out of that. There was a scene that had Art walking down
The alley?
alleyway,
With the garbage bag or something,
and it just felt so Nightmare on Elm Street. Like that original, the dream that Tina has,
And that
his
shot.
arms start. It felt so Nightmare. And there were actually a couple aspects of that felt very Nightmare on Elm Street to me. I suspect there's a dream sequence just based on some of the things that we saw there. Again, I'm here for it. I'm really excited because I feel like all of the trailers that we've watched so far we've had very positive reactions to.
Yeah, there's been nothing saying no, but I mean,
Our
they're
last
horror, and
TrailerCon,
it's like
I wasn't as excited about some of them. So I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about new films, but the last time we watched a bunch of trailers, a few of them, I was like, eh. It does feel like this is going to get a little wild, and if they start really digging into a backstory, I'm worried we're going to end up like Cult of Thorn, Michael Myers, which again, I don't hate. I'm not against that, but I don't think we need that for Art. I don't even want that for Art. I just want him to be a horrible clown that we don't know anything about.
I think this movie, he's going to become more of an icon, and you're going to see more of Art, like how there's Freddy and Jason, and I think he has the potential to become like that for another generation's kind of classic horror slasher movie monster. kind of thing.
Yeah, I just even like his disposition. Like, he's killing, he's covered in blood, and he's giving cute little smiles and posing. It's just very sinister and not something I feel like we've seen done before. So
No.
I think art is actually quite original. Like, I mean, how original can you get if you are like doing, a killer clown? We've seen lots of
Yes,
killer clowns,
but a silent
some from
killer
outer
clown.
space.
So it's like, because
David said, confession, I actually really like the Thorn angle, just
Ah.
not really Halloween 6 itself.
I like that too.
I'd love to chat with you about this sometime. Do you dislike Halloween 6, the director's cut or the editor's cut? Do you dislike it in general? Yeah, I love me some Halloween 6. I believe it's the editor's cut that I'm quite fond of. The one that has just a little bit more in it, a little less gore.
Was that the one that they just recently they found, or no, is that the director's cut? They found the lost footage and they put it together?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Because that's the one that they were trying. There were pieces that were filmed. The whole thing were, there's the whole cult. There was a whole bunch of other. I can't remember the
elements
scenes.
of both cuts. Ideally, I would love to see a combo. But yeah, I mean, I feel like quite often I end up watching the two of them back to back, and they are so similar in so many ways. I think we could just like mash them up a little better. I really like that we get more of Paul Rudd in the
shifty-eyed,
and yeah, we see him. He does this thing, and it's my favorite part of Halloween 6, where he like is walking away from the scene, and he looks back, and he gives like a shifty over his shoulder look. He does it so many times in, I think it's the editor's cut, but they edited it out of the director's cut a bunch of times.
I wonder if anybody has actually pointed this out to him in interviews.
It's like
I want to see his reaction. And
the shifty. He does it so many times.
Because I would turn that back on him, because apparently, we've seen this, remember, in Conan O'Brien?
Yeah.
He would show up and go to show, it's supposed to be a clip from a movie that he's doing, and he keeps showing the same scene in Mac and Me.
Yeah.
With the kid going down the hill in the wagon or whatever with Mac.
And
he keeps getting the audience and the saying, "Oh yeah, I brought you, a clip from the movie."
I'd like to do an edited cut.
But they should turn it around and have just, clips of him being shifty-eyed and
just that movie,
in just Halloween 6, and see, can you explain yourself?
Yeah, I don't know why he did it. I just love it. It makes that movie for me.
Tommy Doyle.
Yeah, I love him as Tommy Doyle. I would have loved to see him return as Tommy Doyle, but that's a whole other thing. We're talking about Halloween when we're supposed to be terrifying.
Sorry.
Okay, so what are we up to next?
Yes.
Jeepers Creepers Reborn. My dog is chewing on me. You know you have a werewolf when he's just chewing on my arm.
Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Okay, so
yeah, let's talk about Jeepers Creepers.
All right. Starting with the very first Jeepers Creepers, traumatized me. I was so scared.
Oh,
of that movie
the opening
when I was
itself,
younger. To me, it's the end. That ending.
Oh, right.
I've always been like really, I don't want to say bothered, but like I'm really sensitive to like an unhappy ending. For someone who watches a lot of horror, that's weird, but like movies that leave you with that like dark and like pit of despair ending. First Nightmare on Elm Street does that. Jeepers Creepers did that. The first Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It really is. It's not a happy ending.
And one of my favorite aspects of that Jeepers Creepers movie is the way they use old music. David, probably one of my favorite final shots in a horror movie in the last 20 years. Yes, it's so powerful. Like I can picture it
so
exactly
well done, and the
is.
music and
I
just
so bothered.
I love the camera panning around, and just something bad's happening, and then you actually.
And I love the scene where his sister, the protagonist's sister in Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those eyes? Yes.
Where'd you get those? And and then how it all makes sense. That's right.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. So okay, the use of old music in that, I find something. I love old music, but I find something deeply.
It gets really creepy,
unsettling
when it's used.
And
then you always. Now when I hear the song,
yeah.
I always associate it with the movie, and I'm like, ooh, the creeper. I just can't.
But the sister at one point says, there's always a point in a horror movie when they make the wrong decision, and you as the audience are like, yelling at them to make the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, this is that moment. And I love the breaking of the fourth wall in a rather unorthodox way of just being like, yes, and that is that moment. And I mean, that moment happens in so many horror movies, but I feel like all of Jeepers Creepers is that.
Yeah.
So fast forward to Jeepers Creepers 2, which I didn't see until years later, and I didn't know about the controversy surrounding the Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, I learned about that way
Writer,
later.
director, I don't know his name.
He worked on Powder as well.
Vincent D'Onofrio, I want to say. I could be totally wrong. Anyway, if you don't know, he actually penned Jeepers Creepers 1 and I believe 2 while he was in jail for
Victor Salva.
Victor
Thank
Salva.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
David.
you.
God, you're here, David.
I know,
What would
'cause
we
I'm
do
like-
without you.
And I hate that when I'm like, the name is on the tip of my tongue, and I'm like, trying to think about it the whole time. So thank you.
So yeah, he was in jail for sexual assault
Yeah.
and of a minor. And when you're watching Jeepers Creepers 2 with that knowledge, and Jeepers Creepers 1 even, but particularly 2, I feel like you are so hyper aware of that. Like you're suddenly just, I don't know, like I can't, I'm usually an advocate for separating the art from the artist. I do believe that we can get incredible art from really awful people. And I think that it is worth trying to assess art separately from the artist at times. I don't think we shouldn't never consider the conditions or the factors that led to the development of art, but I do think that we can take it separately.
That's right.
Like Roman Polanski was a terrible human being, but Rosemary's Baby has always been one of my favorite horror movies, and I never stopped loving that film, but I can't ever not think about
Of course, of what he's guilty of, or the things that have transpired with that person. It is, and some people, it just becomes a thing with like, do I support that with the knowledge that I have, and then there's the whole thing that the creeper is Victor Salva.
Yeah.
He was in an interview or something like that, and because after he went, like, that was supposed to be him, so that really just makes it.
It does. It
that more icky. Yeah, ickier.
Icky. It just adds to the icky.
But what a fantastic character, and there's those like, I remember the trailer. Do you remember the trailer when he's the scarecrow in the field?
Yeah.
And he comes down. Like that was one. I think that was for 2.
Yeah.
And that was such a good trailer. And and that whole opening, that whole beginning of the.
And
the
2 was
original.
terrible. I'm sorry. 2 was terrible.
I can't remember it all.
It's on a
I
bus.
liked that. I know. I actually liked when they were on the bus and the like. I just like because they're trapped.
When part 3, I do like when you trap characters. Admittedly, okay.
Yeah.
But part 3, I knew a lot of particularly people in the horror genre were boycotting part 3 when it was coming out, because they were concerned about the controversy. We watched part 3. It was meh to me. Like,
it was. I could have been
not-
so much better.
and it was take it or leave it. I was just like,
I was
And
excited because I
the
liked.
Creeper. I had high hopes. So anyway, from my understanding, Salva has nothing to do with Jeeper Creeper. Does that say Jeepers? It says Jeeper. Yeah, Jeepers Creepers Reborn is the title of this one. I know nothing about it going in.
The creators have distanced themselves from Victor Salva. They've said. Also, there's a different, from what I gather, there is a different design of the creeper.
Oh, okay.
And it's a different actor playing the creeper altogether.
Should have been Jeepers Resurrection.
Yes, exactly.
And then Busta Rhymes shows up.
Yeah, and
to kick
Busta.
the
Oh
creeper's
god.
ass. I'm here for that.
There we
as
go.
well.
There we go. Like, yeah, Jeepers Creepers Resurrection. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what their take is, and will it become a thing again?
All right, well, let's check out this trailer.
Jeepers
And then after this, we only have 2 left. Screen media every 23 years.
You ever heard of creeper?
Oh,
Scarecrow.
yeah, I like the Scarecrow.
It away.
The creeper comes back every 23 years.
Then what?
And then he kills to feed again. Oh, there's
Oh,
a
beating
shot.
you.
Can't believe I let you try.
Horror
Beating you.
Hound. Oh, this looks like a horror.
A horror carnival. I'm for it.
Yes.
Pennywise. Look at that.
I'm here for it.
Oh, Voodoo, Louisiana.
Creeper themed escape room. No, thank you. Oh, it's a beautiful house.
Oh, I wonder if it's for sale.
Nope. Chandelier, Phantom of the Opera. Jesus. Is it gonna be? No. It is. Oh, we got blood. Oh no. Yeah, no, that's a dead person. It's coming. Here we go. Here we go. This year. Evil is
Really bad. Oh, I love the hat that he wears. It's so creepy.
Oh. Oh no. September 19th, 20th, and 21st. 3-night fan event. Ooh, interesting.
Only in theaters for that. I wonder. I don't know what streaming service it's coming to after that.
Okay. So.
It looks good. It looks better than the third one. It looks like they're taking it in a different direction. And one of the things that I did read in the synopsis was that it does take place in Louisiana,
Oh, I didn't know that.
which is one of my which is my favorite state because of New Orleans. So I think it takes place around there. So that's got that going for it for me. And it takes place at a horror carnival.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Okay.
my reaction. It starts off at this like sort of horror-looking carnival park, maybe Halloween carnival fair.
Yeah.
And obviously they win an escape room experience that is modeled after the Creeper. So they leave this fair to go to this like gothic-looking old house where the chandelier falls very Phantom of the Opera right away. Already I'm kind of like, I wanted them to stay at the fair. I would have been so there if that entire film, kind of like Hellfest, like to go on a completely different note, I feel like Hellfest had a lot of potential. I wanted to like Hellfest a lot. It was okay. It was just okay. Bloodfest, I really liked. I feel like Bloodfest succeeded where Hellfest didn't. I still thought there was more that Bloodfest could have done, but I think Bloodfest is the better of the two. But I thought Hellfest had a lot of potential. So it feels like a little bit of Hellfest to begin with, but then we leave Hellfest to go and meet up with the Creeper. And I just I want to stay at Hellfest. I would have liked to stay. Like you said, it looks better quality already. Like I think we have a higher budget. Cinematography looks good. It's beautiful. Like it really looks pretty.
Very, very horror-centric looking and very, like fog and just things that you would expect to see in a horror movie, but of this kind.
A little tropey. I'm definitely here for this. Already I find the characters annoying. I've only watched the trailer and they all seem very young and kind of like influencier. That's not a word, but yeah. That's not my favorite kind of character. That was something I didn't love about the new Texas Chainsaw. I actually really liked the new Texas Chainsaw. Again, unpopular opinion, but the characters were really annoying. I just found them really irritating. And I already feel like I'm going to be irritated by the Jeepers Creepers characters.
Well, maybe that's the point. So then you're just like, whoa, so you're rooting for the Creeper. Which seems like after all the
I like that we didn't really see much of the Creeper. I like the use of the Scarecrow, so we're harkening back to that. We get the truck beating you. Yes.
I've wanted the truck to be back.
Yeah. So
return.
Yeah.
Of the truck.
Okay, we have 2 more left. We have been here for almost an hour, so I guess we should get nearing to the end.
Okay.
Let's do Interview with the Vampire.
Interview?
Next,
okay.
Because I'm more excited about the last one than Interview. Okay, so new Interview with the Vampire TV series, right?
Yes. It's a new take on Anne Rice's novels. This, from my understanding, is going to mix a lot more of her lore from the books, since when they made the Interview with the Vampire story, she hadn't finished writing the series. So they're drawing from all of her literary works to do this. So I'm already excited about that because I did love the movie. I mean, it's its own thing in terms of like nothing can touch that. I mean, it was just so good. This though, I think has potential to really flesh out the story a lot more. I mean, depending on hopefully the quality's good, and
So
I don't know that much about it.
I'm bored. Anything I've read about, anything I've seen, I'm bored already. So
Oh.
I'd like to put that on.
Oh, really? I
yeah.
haven't really seen anything about
I've
it.
not
so-
seen the trailer. I've only seen images and I've read some things about it. Honestly, I'm not really here for this. I love the original Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, yeah. it's
That
fun.
it's so amazing and beautiful. I read a lot of the Vampire Chronicles books, so I am a big Anne Rice fan. I am a big fan of vampires in general. I love the Queen of the Damned film. Again, it's from that era. I love the music. I love the aesthetic. I like the look. Unpopular opinion, but I love Queen of the Damned. Not as much as Interview, but still. I think it's good. I know it's not. You don't need to correct me. I know it's not. I can love it anyway. But this just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't spark joy for me yet. But the trailer could change absolutely everything.
I'll give it this. It's AMC and not the CW.
Yeah.
So
and
there we go. Already.
I like the idea that they're going to go deeper into the story and do more with the universe. There's a lot more potential when you're doing a TV show to go deeper. So we'll see.
All right.
Yeah, let's put her on.
Let's check this out.
All right. Interview with watch trailer now. Okay, we will. Looks pretty.
Church.
He's in his head.
Well,
New Orleans.
So we're in 1910 New Orleans.
she had a hurricane. Just saying.
Diversified portfolio of enterprises.
It was filmed there too. Look. Oh, New Orleans.
The music, costumes look amazing.
I love the setting, but I love the setting in the original. Oh, Garden District. That's that home that we saw. I think the.
I've been watching you for some time now, Louis. I can smoke this life of shame.
Oh,
That looks like
love that
yeah,
shot.
right where we walk down. Where it is. A little homoeroticism
You
going
just have to
on.
ask me for it.
Claudia. Looks like they took the reverend. Oh yes, he's getting hit by a vampire.
You don't fear me, Victoria.
Who I assume looks like he is
Yourself. I ask the questions, you answer the questions. Anything that can't be verified, I send to my researcher. So, how long have you been dead?
Christian Slater's got me
It would have been funny if it had been. Christian
Yeah,
Slater.
you know what? I would have again there for that. Okay. I'm less bored having seen the trailer, so that's good.
The setting already just okay. They're showing so much more of New Orleans than I expected that they would in the quarter. I'm here for it just for that alone. But the shots were really, really cool.
It was beautiful. Like the costumes look gorgeous. They look pretty authentic to the time period, which is something I'm always a little bit, curious about when we do, especially vampire
And a
fiction.
series, and we've seen all these series as of late. Again, not to dump on the CW because they've got their own thing
Yeah,
going.
yeah, but
No, but you see a lot of those.
what trailer did you just watch? Oh, we just watched
Oh.
the trailer for the new Interview with the Vampire TV series. And I was saying before, I'm not really super excited about it. I feel a little more excited though after having watched the trailer. I loved the homoeroticism in it. Lestat and Louis were lovers to me. They were two men living in New Orleans in like this like extravagant lifestyle, raising a young girl. Okay, yes, she was a young vampire, but like this is like the unconventional family portrait.
Well, I think that's what Anne Rice had intended.
Yeah.
Right?
But when you translate it into film, I don't think it ever was that blatant.
Well, again, at the time when that film came out, you know, the studios, it wasn't about inclusivity. It wasn't about like, oh, you know, what will most audiences or mainstream audiences, you know, we can't have any that they're, you know, lovers.
Yeah.
We can't have this because they're like, that won't sell. You know, it's just the people that were making the films. They just no clue what's going on.
And like, I mean, and if you read any of the books, any of Anne Rice's work, like Lestat is just like, he's just like generally sexual. Like
Yeah.
it is not he's the epitome of pansexuality. It doesn't matter who, what, where, when, why. Lestat is just seductive and sensual. And I think that, again, I've always really read his and Louis' relationship as like the ultimate toxic relationship, like burn each other's houses down with you in it kind of like toxic relationship. And I live for that. They were so dramatic and catty in the original, and I love it. So I like that they're just like putting that out there in this one. Like that's all.
They're not holding back. It seems like they're going for what was originally intended. And again, having more lore to go off of and what happens later. I have to confess that I haven't read her entire series, but I know it goes on, and then it, you know, goes to like the vampire Armand, and it goes to all of these. They have the backstories for all of these characters. Always whining, Louis. Exactly. He does. He is. He's like, he's like, but I don't want to eat people. You have to eat people. No, I'm going to eat rats. You can't make me.
Oh yeah, he is just like stomping his foot. He's so annoying, and he's just here for a good time. He's here for a long time, and he's here for a good time. And that's what I love about Lestat is he's like a party vampire.
And then he's like, you know what? I've been sleeping. You know what? I'm going to become a rock god.
And then he did. And then Jonathan Davies was his voice.
Davis, yes, and he wrote, and that soundtrack, phenomenal. But all those songs, I believe, are written by Jonathan Davis, but he had other artists sing them.
Oh, I don't know if they all were, but yeah.
But you had Chester Bennington, and you had all of these artists. Oh, such a good soundtrack.
I also like that we have a lot more people of color being represented in this trailer. Not to derail the train of thought, but did you think Cruz made a good Lestat? Okay. Again, maybe an unpopular opinion. I thought he was a fantastic Lestat, and I am not a big Cruise fan. I fully admit this. I feel like Tom Cruise is kind of creepy, but like for Lestat, it worked.
Yeah, there is a couple of roles that I think he's just brilliant. Lestat and his character from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, you loved him.
And you know what? I'm going to go out and say this. Rock of Ages.
Oh yeah, he was good in that. I love Risky Business. I grew up watching Risky Business, and I love. He seems so innocent and sweet in that, which like he's
Magnolia
usually
as well.
kind of he's kind of like smarmy and gross, and I like him like in his youth. I feel like before his head got too big, but Lestat's head is big. Lestat is like everything that's bad about Tom Cruise, but coupled, you know, they're taken to the highest extent. And then also like covered in glitter and some lace frills, and it's just I loved Cruz's Lestat. I found Pitt really whiny as Louis, but he was supposed to be. He's not as whiny in the book, but he's still like he's just a sad, whiny little boy. But I really liked. Oh gosh, his name's eluding me now. Who played Lestat in Queen of the Damned? Stuart Townsend. I love Stuart Townsend as Lestat. I think that he kind of took a lot of what Cruise started and did, and he made it his own, but it worked. It still felt like the same character, even though it wasn't the same person. Like, it still felt like
because you would think there'd be that disconnect, and I think that was always what I thought I was going to do when I watched it, because I'm like, oh, that's not Lestat. Like, you know, I'm used to Tom Cruise, and it was like it was tonally different. It was different, and you really didn't. I didn't think that I noticed really.
But yeah, I did like to see a lot more Black characters in this. I mean, it takes place in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and I mean, the original is pretty whitewashed. We see Black representation of like women coming in as like peasants or women working in the home.
But then again, at the time that it took place too, it wasn't, you know, I mean, that was kind of like what New Orleans would have been like.
Definitely.
So but yes, it's great to see that, you know, they've expanded on the cast, and
it looks like Claudia is played by a young Black actress. I'm curious to see what they do with Claudia, because she isn't a character I've always really loved. You hate her. I hate Claudia, but I also love her at the same time. And I think it's really a fascinating idea of making a vampire.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst did such a great.
Yeah,
was that her first? That wasn't her first major film.
Like her first probably big role like that, and she killed it. So okay, we have one final trailer.
One final trailer to
Our
find.
last trailer is going to raise some hell. We have such sights to show you. Okay, so I'm gonna start this off also with an unpopular opinion. Not the biggest Hellraiser fan. I haven't finished the series. I'm not the hugest Clive Barker fan. I have not read any of his work. I find his
video games
films
are great.
I find his art and his films very disturbing, and I know they're supposed to, and I like that. I like that I'm disturbed by it. But like, if I go to put on something for pleasure and enjoyment, Hellraiser's just not where I ever go.
It's very dark. When we finally watched it, and I know, it was such a big thing when it came out, but finally watching it, it is just, it's so dark and twisted, and it's just, you know, it makes you feel like, I don't know, that you're in a dark place the whole time. Gross. And I mean, and that's obviously what he intended. I think it really works in that sense. And the makeup is fantastic. But it's so.
I do like the first Hellraiser, but not something I come back to that often for the reasons you're outlining.
Yes. Right.
So when I watched the first Hellraiser, it was the same thing with actually the first Candyman. I was what I always refer to as a gore hound, and I was like purposely seeking out all of these classic slasher horror sort of films that I knew about that were part of franchises that I really wanted to have that opportunity to see. And I remember being really bored by Candyman and bored by Hellraiser. Then I rewatched them later on, and Candyman I love so much more now, having rewatched it later on. At the time, it didn't click with me. It just wasn't my thing, and now I adore Candyman. I really do. And I love Tony Todd just in general, but really the first Candyman, and I actually enjoyed the sequel, especially the New Orleans one.
Oh yeah,
that one was so fun.
Farewell to the Flesh, right?
Is that the one? That's two. I don't know if that was that one. The one that takes place in the Orleans. I really enjoyed that, but I like the Candyman universe, all of that. When we rewatched the very first Hellraiser, I liked it so much more than I remembered liking it. I think that I went into that waiting for Pinhead. Like, and if you watch the first Hellraiser, Pinhead's in it for like 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, he wasn't really supposed to become the icon that he was just supposed to be one of these, you know, and just he wasn't. And then that's what everybody thinks of when because he became.
And
this
really,
icon.
the stepmom is the real evil in the first Hellraiser, and she's so good. And Frank and their
Uncle
relationship, and it's disgusting, and it's
no flesh Frank,
sexual, and sadistic. Again, there's no flesh Frank.
Yeah, see,
it's true.
They call him No Flesh Frank.
So returning to Hellraiser years later, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first time. And that, when I first did my run, I never saw the second one. Wasn't Pinhead also just credited as lead Cenobite in the first one?
Yes.
Always fascinating how these franchise characters develop. It's so true that he's become like one of the most iconic images of the horror genre.
And to think that he's only in it for that. I mean, like, you know, he's not like, you know, Freddy Krueger. That was his film, and it's not like Jason again. Well, okay, in the original, it was his mother. But, you know, he became this icon for the series. But then, you know, somebody only has 2 minutes of screen time becomes, a big villain.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Boba Fett.
I like 2 better than 1 when it came to Hellraiser 2, and we need to finish the other ones because I remember watching one of them that there's like a scene in a club, like Hellraiser goes to a rave or something. Hellrave? I don't know.
Hellrave. Hellraver.
Coming this summer. Hellraver. Yeah,
Your
I
last
was.
electronic music festival you will attend.
We have such synth to show you. That's
Synth.
Hellraiser 3. Okay, thank you, David.
Thank you.
We need to watch that one.
Yes.
I feel like I watched part of that and really enjoyed that, but like it was at like a thing. Ozzy Osbourne did the track, the type of track for that. Okay.
Oh,
we're watching
they
that
have a
one.
theme tune. Okay.
Oh, I'm such a sucker
Because
for a
we
theme
watched
song.
the one that takes place in hell, which is the second one, and that was, and we never
And I was like,
revisited it after that.
The
That was
second
just
one,
it's so
really,
weird.
I was a little more on board after watching Hellraiser 1 and then Hellraiser 2. I was like, yeah. But yeah, Hellraiser 3's Hellraver. I am here for Hellraver. We have such synth to show you.
We gotta find that one.
Yeah, I'd watch that one. And I'd watch any of them. But I remember watching part of that and being a little interested in it. But just generally, it was one franchise I just never really got that invested in. Jump to current time. We have is a remake. I see a reboot. They're calling it a reboot.
But what I've heard, whether it's now they're saying it remake is in like a remake, or is it like it's going to tie into the original, kind of like what they did with The Thing? Because everybody thinks that the newer Thing movie, I know this is off topic, but the newer Thing movie is a remake. But spoiler. But it's actually a prequel. So I wonder if this is going to be something like
Davidson, I don't think you'll be disappointed by that scene. It's wild and hilarious. I love any scene at like a club or like Blade.
Yeah.
Give me like bloodbath at a club. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I love the club. I love a bloodbath.
Put them together.
Fast. But the new Hellraiser, we get a lady Hellraiser, a lady Pinhead. Mrs. Pinhead. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about that. She is gorgeous. Every picture I've seen of her, she is beautiful. As Pinhead.
So I haven't really seen any. Well, I kind of see something there, but I just want
beautiful as Pinhead. No offense, Doug Bradley. I don't mean anything against you. I'm sure you felt very
He's
powerful.
going to be tweeting you now.
Yeah, he's going to be so mad at me. Yes, I can't wait to see her interpretation of Pinhead. Yes, honestly, this is what I'm mostly here for. I am most excited about the new Hellraiser for Lady Pinhead. So, yeah.
Let's check this out.
16 seconds.
It's 60.
long.
It's only a
But
teaser.
that says Hellraiser official movie trailer, and that was 2 days ago.
I think it's a fan film because this has been the only thing.
Fit.
Yeah, I think it's a fan film.
Okay.
I think if into the comments we go, they'll say
official trailer.
No, see, because it's.
Oh, that's Judgment. Oh,
yeah.
Damon Carney. Oh, he looks terrible as Pinhead. No offense, Damon Carney.
I think.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. 16 seconds. We'll see what we get.
16 seconds of my life. We've got Pinhead in the background. It's just saying Hellraiser. Is that literally going to be it? Who is Hellraiser? No.
Literally. So October 7th. Okay. Yeah, that was
literally just letters that say Hellraiser, and I'm guessing it's her in the background.
that was supposed to. I thought we'd get a better look at her. We didn't really get a.
We have
really
seen images of her. I have seen images.
Yeah, and I think I did
and
too.
She
but
does look amazing, and I've seen people do cosplays prior to her. Of Lady Pinheads, and I'm always I am here for a Lady Pinhead. I don't know why, but there's something about mixing the vulgarity and the obscenity of that look with aesthetic beauty. I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah, you can be sure that there will be so many at horror conventions now, and so this is going to be. I think she'll create such an iconic character. I mean, I'm hoping so too. I hope that Hellraiser comes back.
Yeah.
In a big way, because I know that some of the sequels afterwards just got they were saying
silly,
really silly.
Well, from what I've heard.
But
I'll try them. I'll give it a chance. Okay, well, I guess that concludes TrailerCon 2022. Thank you so much for joining us, particularly you, David. Man,
Thank
you have
you,
been our
David.
cheerleader
Thank
in the
you very
comments.
much.
Thank you. What would we do without you today? So thank you for joining us today. I hope you liked our very first video. Welcome to Creep Country. We will be here as often as we can. If you have anything that you want to see or you would like to see us review or check out or talk about on here, feel free to let us know. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave us a comment, and you too, David, you have a good night.
You can find us at Creep Country on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
And Facebook, pretty much anywhere at Creep Country. And we can't stop here because this is Creep Country.
Creep Country.
Have a good night, and we'll see you soon, creepy folks.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Bye.